Straight ahead on Fox 44 News at 5:30. We're in day 4 of Marks' sentencing phase. We've got a live report.
And leaders and staff at the Cameron Park Zoo gearing up for a special celebration.
Also, Fort Worth police are looking into how the body of a newborn baby girl ended up dumped in someone's front yard.
Live from Waco, Temple, and Killeen, your news now. This is Fox 44 News at 5:30.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us for Fox 44 News at 5:30. I'm Adam Hooper.
And I'm MG Montemayor. We're
seeing some scattered showers and thunderstorms in parts of our area right now. For more on that, let's bring in Chief Meteorologist Mike LaPointe. Mike.
I'll tell you what, they've been strong this afternoon. We've had a few warnings here and there, but right now there are no warnings in effect, no advisories, or no watches, so that is some good news. Here's the latest on our exclusive Viper radar. Starting to see some spotty showers moving to parts of McLennan County and also just exiting parts of Bell County. You can see over toward Salado, down toward Gerald, right on I-35. Some scattered thunderstorms, not severe, but dropping some heavy rain and quite a bit in the way of some lightning. And like I said, we're watching some areas of some heavier rainfall moving out of Bosque County, Hill County, sliding to the southeast at about 20 miles per hour, if that. Over toward west, some heavy rainfall down toward the Lacey Lakeview area, just north of Lake Waco at this time. And again, down toward the Brazos Valley, we've had some heavier showers and thunderstorms rolling through parts of College Station and areas to the south, but a lot of that beginning to kind of fall apart. Areas west of I-35, you haven't seen anything whatsoever. It's been very, very quiet in that area. In the forecast, as we go throughout the evening hours, any shower activity that you are seeing, especially east of I-35, a lot of that will start to fall apart by 9-10 o'clock. You can see we're starting to look at just partly cloudy skies here across the region, looking pretty quiet for the most part. But again, skies are partly to maybe mostly cloudy, depending on where you're looking right now. Our live Centex roof system sky trackers. Notice the temperature though. Rain cooled air, 72 in the Woodway area, and much warmer in the other spots. We're going to talk more about that, and then a big heat wave on the way. Your 10-day forecast in just a few more minutes. Back to you.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, we've got some shocking new revelations as Cedric Marks finished his direct testimony.
That's right, and not listening to his attorneys, Marks admitted he lied to the jury and that they were right to find him guilty. Fox 44's Earl Stoudemire joins us live outside the Bell County Justice Center to explain why Marks did this. Earl.
Adam, MG, the courtroom was in shock hearing Cedric Marks confirm he is absolutely responsible in the deaths of Jenna Scott and Michael Swearingen. Marks said he didn't want to follow advice from his attorney because he wanted to protect Maya Maxwell. In testimony, Marks says Maxwell and one of her exes abducted and killed Michael and Jenna in an abandoned home right behind where Michael lived. Marks said he didn't know Maxwell did any of this until he saw their bodies in Rebecca Atney's garage. Marks did admit to helping bury Jenna and Michael and says he was meant to be on trial for doing this and other past actions, but told the courtroom he didn't kill them. In cross-examination, Garza did say that Marks was trying to sway the jury with this narrative and provided exhibits to refute Marks' testimony. At 6, we'll go into what Marks wants to ask the jury to do. Live in Belton, Earl Stoudemire, Fox 44 News.
All right, thanks, Earl. A 43-year-old man is sentenced in Waco federal courtroom to 20 years in prison for possessing child pornography. According to court documents, Christopher Dallas Nelson had in his possession and uploaded images of children under the age of 12 engaging in sexually explicit conduct to various social media platforms. U.S. Attorney Jamie Esparza of the Western District of Texas says sexual predators like Nelson will face the full force of the law and the consequences will be severe. Temple Police Department and the FBI work together to investigate the case.
Bobby Roy Chandler is behind bars on felony charges, accused of shooting his neighbor's dog and doing away with the remains. Beverly Hills Police Chief says a family came into the police station Tuesday to report that their neighbor shot a dog that morning. The dog killed was a German Shepherd named River, whom the family had rescued and was training. The dog had gotten out of their yard but was wearing a reflective vest and pulling a leash. Chief Corey Martin says it was determined that 3 shots had been fired at the dog and that Chandler and his wife, Angelita Chandler, were seen collecting the body of the dog, discarding his leash and vest, and washing the blood off the street. Well, a developing story and a disturbing criminal investigation is underway in Fort Worth.
Yeah, police are looking into how the body of a newborn baby girl ended up dumped in someone's front yard on the city's west side. A terrible discovery made by someone walking along the 5100 block of Birchman Avenue in West Fort Worth. The body of a newborn baby girl in the front yard of this blue house early Tuesday morning, wrapped in what's only described as a plastic bag. The baby only a few hours old. Fort Worth PD not sharing the baby's race or any other details about the condition she was in. An autopsy will try to determine how she died, while the police try to figure out who her mother is and why the baby was dumped there sometime between 10 Monday night and 6:40 Tuesday morning.
This case, we're asking for the public's assistance. You know, it really hits home. I'm a dad myself, and it's just hard. You know, we don't want to put anybody to be a victim out there, but just the innocence of this child just hits home.
Police now pleading publicly for the child's mother to come forward. Leaders and staff at the Cameron Park Zoo are putting on their party hats as they celebrate a huge milestone this evening.
That's right. Fox 44's Renako G stopped by the zoo earlier today to see how they're preparing for an exciting night.
Preparations for the Cameron Park Zoo birthday celebrations are underway as the natural habitat celebrates 30 years here in Waco. Established in July of 1993, those at the Cameron Park Zoo are thrilled to celebrate the zoo's historic 30-year milestone a month before its actual date. The entirety of the Natural Habitat Zoo is home to over 1,700 animals, drawing in large crowds from visitors all over. And tonight, those at the zoo are opening its doors past regular hours to celebrate a momentous occasion with the community. Marketing Public Relations Manager Duanne McGregor shares all of the exciting details for tonight's event from 6 to 10.
We have a slide, a bounce house, karaoke for them from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock, and of course the animals, the main stars, will be out until 7:30. Tickets purchased will go towards a fundraiser, with adults charged $15 per entry and children $10. Festivities will also include a trackless train, a bubble machine, a kid-friendly mechanical bull, and a band for adults and children to dance and have a good time too. Whether there's rain or clear skies, festivities are still set to take place tonight here at the Cameron Park Zoo. For more information, you can visit our website at fox44news.com. In Waco, Renako G, Fox 44 News.
Coming up, events and activities are being canceled as smoke from the wildfires in Canada blanket the U.S.
Scattered showers and thunderstorms continue to roll through parts of our area right now. They should be dying down here very soon. Quiet tomorrow, but more storms this weekend. I got the latest coming up next.
This is Fox 44 News at 5:30 with Adam Hooper, MG Montemayor, AMS certified chief meteorologist Mike LaPointe, and sports with Eric Kelly. The Fox 44 News mobile app, localized, weather rate certified, most accurate weather forecasts. Mike LaPointe and the Fox 44 Storm Team, warning you first and keeping you safe.
Texas Star Tire and Auto Repair is your headquarters for the best tires, automotive repair, wheel alignments, and more. With a $34.99 oil change for full synthetic and a $19.99 oil change for synthetic blend. Tire services, preventive maintenance, and more, all at a fair price. Inspections, brake repair, diagnostics are just a few services we have to offer. We take an engineering approach to utilize state-of-the-art technology and a methodical plan, do, check, act, problem-solving process to maximize the quality you deserve. Our convenient location serves Waco, McGregor, Lorena, and surrounding areas.
Eliminate stress at iMart Express. New customers get 40% off your first purchase, protected with a free 365-day guarantee, covering both frames and lenses. Visit an iMart Express today and save 40% on your new pair made with free same-day speed.
Elliot is spunky. She's a very courageous little girl. When Elliot was 3, she was diagnosed with stage 4 Wilms tumor. Today, Elliot takes life by the horns. There's not a lot that scares her, and she gave us the strength to just continue to face all the challenges.
Hello guys, you should have this hair because it's so beautiful. My name is Elliot. I want to do big things.
Never fear. Resilience is right here.
Eliminate stress at iMart Express. New customers get 40% off your first purchase, protected with a free 365-day guarantee, covering both frames and lenses. Visit an iMart Express today and save 40% on your new pair made with free same-day speed.
Tonight on News Nation, America's fastest growing cable news network. The announcement taking the sports world by storm. Live Golf now in a multi-year broadcast deal with the CW network. Two-time major champion and Live Golf CEO Greg Norman sits down to discuss the league's first U.S. TV deal in a News Nation exclusive. Tonight on Dan Abrams Live, 9, 8 Central. See why more people are turning to News Nation. To find News Nation, go to newsnationnow.com and click Channel Finder.
Welcome back. There's no shortage of apocalyptic pictures as out-of-control wildfires in Canada continue to cause some seriously hazy skies in the United States.
And it's prompting health warnings for the millions of people in the path of the smoke. Plumes of smoke from the wildfires raging in Canada are shrouding large swaths from the U.S. from the Midwest to the Carolinas, forcing officials to cancel more events and activities because of poor air quality. In the Big Apple, Broadway shows and racing at the Belmont Park were canceled, with New York Governor Kathy Hochul announcing more measures to protect horses. New York City public schools are going remote, and some flights have been grounded. In the nation's capital, a Major League Baseball game, the Nationals versus Diamondbacks, was postponed. The National Zoo in D.C. is also closed.
Weather Rate certified most accurate forecast in Central Texas. This is Fox 44 Weather with Chief Meteorologist Mike LaPointe.
Well, it was a hot day today with some scattered showers and thunderstorms popping up in the afternoon. The heat of the day is expected. Wanted to show you what we're looking at right now here in the Temple area, where skies are partly cloudy at this hour. Not looking bad. Our live Centex Roof System sky tracker, it's on top of the Kyle building in downtown Temple, 82 degrees. Our current temperature, wind out of the southeast at 17 miles per hour. Here's our exclusive Viper radar. Showers and thunderstorms continue to roll. Not everybody's seeing it. Right now it's pretty heavy to the north of us, and we'll get there in just a second. But monitoring some showers and storms over toward Bell County. Those are kind of falling apart as they track off to the south and to the east. But notice that outflow boundary going the other way at this time. But this is what we have right now in McLennan County. Some widely scattered showers and some isolated thunderstorms tracking southeast at about 15 miles per hour or so, producing some gustier winds at times. But a stronger cell, we're keeping our eye on this one here up around Meridian up in Bosque County. This one could be producing some $half size hail, or at least a ½ inch, I should say, in diameter as it tracks the southeast. You can see quite a bit of lightning with that and some heavy rainfall. So we'll watch that at this time. It is not severe. It's just below severe limits, but it's worth watching, that is for sure. Also some rain over toward parts of Hill County. And as we focus down into parts of the Brazos Valley, light to moderate rain now moving through College Station and Bryan, all tracking down to the southeast at about 20 miles per hour. The forecast then, as we go throughout the evening, I expect once the sun goes down, a lot of these showers and storms will start to weaken and eventually start to fall apart, leaving us with partly cloudy skies by midnight. Mainly clear skies the farther west you go. Temperatures upper 60s, and by tomorrow morning, mainly clear skies, a few clouds, temperatures in the 60s to start. As we go throughout the day on Friday, we'll start with the morning, and it's going to be a hot day. Temperatures tomorrow climbing into the mid-90s, low to mid-90s in most areas. There could be a spotty shower here or there to cool you off, but I think most of us stay dry, and unfortunately we're going to stay in those 90s there by dinner time. Looks good for your Friday night. If you have plans to take you out, try to find one of those misters if you're going to be out in the patio, right? And then late Friday into Saturday, a few more clouds start to roll in here. We've got an upper level system that's going to begin to slide into our area here on Saturday, and that will spark up some showers and storms. Take a look at this. We are looking at the possibility of some thunderstorms that could be strong to severe. Right now, the Storm Prediction Center is eyeing, this is Saturday, you can see we're in a level 2 of 5. That is a slight risk of severe weather with our main threat, large hail and damaging winds. So we'll have to watch that a little bit on the closer side because it's still several days away here. But with any thunderstorm that pops up, especially this time of the year, hail and wind seem to be the biggest threats. As for tonight, still some scattered showers out there. We're going to watch those until at least about 8, 9 o'clock. Not everybody will see it. Otherwise, partly cloudy skies. We drop to 69 degrees. And then tomorrow, mostly sunny skies. It's going to be a hot day. I think about 94 degrees for the high temperature, but you factor in the humidity, our heat index. Yes, we'll bring that out. About 101 degrees. That's what it's going to feel like. So you remember what to do, right? When you're outside, make sure you drink plenty of water, stay hydrated. If you get a little dizzy, obviously slow down or get inside. Here's the long-range forecast for the next 10 days, and we are talking about the strong storms late in the afternoon into the evening on Saturday, 40% chance right now. Then we're going to see those temperatures upper 90s to 100 degrees, and unfortunately, high and dry weather in the forecast. Here comes that big ridge of high pressure, and that's not going to allow anything really to develop. Here we go with those temperatures in the triple digits. I think starting on Wednesday for most of the week, nighttime lows will be in the mid-70s, down toward Bryan and College Station. 95 tomorrow. There's those scattered storms on Saturday, and then hot and dry weather next week, upper 90s to lower 100s. Nighttime lows in the mid-70s. But tonight we're still seeing some showers and storms out there. Hopefully we'll catch a little bit here and there in the yard because there's nothing coming our way next week.
I love when the clouds are so super dark in the middle of the day like it was today. I love that. It's kind of eerie feeling.
And it's better than having that smoke they're having up in the northeast.
Sure. You saw that video earlier?
Oh, I know.
Is that pressure taking off any of that heat at all? Some of the scattered stuff happening in the showers?
It's cooling us off. Yes, it is.
But we're still in the hundreds, though, next week, most likely.
The ridge of high pressure builds right on top of us. Think of a cup of this hot air underneath the cup, right? And that's where we're sitting, and nothing can go through that, and we're just
going anywhere.
And high pressure is sinking air, which means clouds can't even develop to protect you or kind of cover you up. So
I was hoping that, but
I know, darn it.
Oh wow! All right, thanks, Mike.
Coming up next in sports, we'll have highlights and reactions from Round Rock, where the Abbott Panthers had a chance to win their first state baseball championship since 2017.
This weather segment is brought to you by Centex Roof Systems, your hometown roofer. Call today, 751-7700.
Centex Roof Systems is the leading contractor in Central Texas. We specialize in residential and commercial roofing.
Here at Winniell, we had our roof put on, and the crew that came out here got it done real quick, and within a couple days, we're going to have our roof done.
Centex Roof Systems has something to offer everyone needing roof maintenance, seamless gutters, and metal roofing. Trust Centex Roof Systems to provide you with the highest quality services.
Sizzling summer savings are happening this Saturday at Ashley. Get ready to save on the hottest furniture styles with 30% off store-wide. And to make sizzling savings even hotter, we're offering 60 months, no interest. 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Saturday only at Ashley.
Budget Rental Part wants your vehicle, and we'll pay you top dollar for it. Turn that junk car into cash, and the tow is free. Have a junk car taking up space? Give us a call and get paid today. Or visit us online for an estimate and turn your car into cash. Yep, it's that easy. Turn something old into gold at Budget Rental Part in Belton, where we pay top dollar for junk cars. Located on 190 in Belton, Budget Rental Part, paying top dollar for junk cars.
At Honda, we offer complimentary maintenance for 2 years or 24,000 miles. Just enjoy the ride, knowing we cover routine items like oil changes, tire rotations, and multi-point inspections. Honda Service Pass, available to purchasers of all 2023 Honda vehicles. Get yours today.
At Chad Jones Law, we know how difficult life can be after a serious car accident. That's why we give every client the personal attention they need. We take the time to get to know our clients and their stories. Then we work hard to make sure they get all the money they're entitled to after their car accident.
I'm Attorney Chad Jones. If you've been hurt, get the money you deserve. Call me right now for a free consultation.
Don't get mad. Get Chad. Chad Jones Law. 1-800-64-JONES.
Right now at Ashley, discover the luxury and support of a good night's sleep with select Ashley Sleep Queen mattresses starting at $9.99. And for a limited time, buy a bed gear pillow or mattress protector. Get the second half off. Shop and save today, only at Ashley.
Fox 44 Sports with Eric Kelly.
Gotta love a good title game Thursday where the entire season and a chance at a championship comes down to a single game. And it started this morning at the 1A level with the Abbott baseball team, which is no stranger to competing for a state title, at least in recent seasons. Those Panthers of Abbott looking to repeat the result from 2017 and win a 1A state baseball championship. Kyle Crawford and company would have to get past Fayetteville. Abbott would start fast for a second straight game. In the top of the first, Carson Johnson shoots one to the left side, scores Riley Sestala, part of a 2-run first inning for the Panthers as they take the early lead. Top of the third, then, they'd add on to the advantage. Connor Sullins, the hero from the semis, pops one perfectly between third and left field. Another run scores as part of a 3-run inning, and it's 5-0 Abbott just like that. Fayetteville would creep back into this one, though, in the fifth. Easton Jaeger rips one back up the middle, brings in a run for the Lions, part of a 3-run inning for them, and the Abbott lead back to 2. Top 7, though, Panthers would add an insurance run. Bases loaded. Hogan Warren does just enough to muscle one into left to extend the lead to 6-3. Abbott would need every run in this one. Bottom 7th now. It's 6-5 all of a sudden. 2 outs. Sestala gets the strikeout to end the game. Cue the dog pile as the Panthers are the kings of the 1A classification with a 6-5 win in the state championship game.
It was unbelievable. I'm just so proud of this group because they've been second a lot lately, you know. The expectation's not second place in Abbott. So for them to come down here and use all those experiences to put all that together and let it culminate in a state championship, just unbelievably proud of them. We got a lot of tough kids in this dugout.
Last year was like, whoa, we're here, we did it. But we didn't have that, like, we're going to win it mentality, like, we're going to come in here, destroy and win. That's what we had this year.
Just watching that dog pile in 2017, you know, it's been something I lay in bed and just vision ever since then. And you finally have it come true. It's a dream come true.
So one local baseball team plays on this Thursday, and one local baseball team wins a state title on this Thursday. But Abbott not the only one from the area with that opportunity today, as China Spring will look to cap off quite the season tonight as well. And our Parker Ream now joins us from the dish in Austin, the site of the 4A state championship game, with more from a China Spring team that will hope to have more in the tank following a marathon of a state semifinal game last night.
Yeah, well, really the only question coming into today is, will it take 12 innings like yesterday? My answer, at least, I sure hope not, at least for my sake here in this heat. But one thing's for sure, this China Spring team will not quit no matter what. They've shown that all season long, and it has them on the precipice of bringing a state title back to China Spring for the first time since 2000. And they could do it under first-year head coach Corey Beckham. What a story this team has been this season. Beckham returning to his home where he won 2 state championships as a player, and with the win tonight could bring it back to China Spring if the Cougars can pull it out tonight. This is a fun team to watch, as fun as any in Central Texas, but that doesn't mean the Cardiac Cats won't put you into cardiac arrest as a fan. However, that's just how they like it, and they're bringing that into tonight.
That's kind of what we're about here lately for sure, but I mean, if you wanted to come see a good high school baseball game and you were here tonight, you got your money's worth now. I mean, that was a heck of a game, and like I said, both teams battled, but I just can't say that we had so many guys that played good, so many guys that came through. I mean, just a lot of little things behind the scenes nobody will ever know but us worked out in our favor, and then of course some things didn't, but golly, I'm proud of these guys.
The longest ever 4A state semifinal game, 12 innings. Please, 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 please let that be 7 innings tonight and a China Spring win. We'll see what happens, but we'll have those highlights at 9 here on Fox 44. Eric, back to you.
Thanks, Parker, and that's sports for now. Adam MG, back to you.
Thanks, Eric. Thanks, Parker. Coming up last night, former Baylor Bear Brittany Griner made her Texas homecoming, taking on the Dallas Wings in her first game back in the Lone Star State. More on that next. Also, here's what's on Fox 44 tonight.
Issue an alert.
Our missing person just became the prime suspect.
Don't miss Alert.
Thursdays on Fox.
Join happy Optimum customers who love their fast Optimum 300 meg internet for as low as $30 a month. Paul says reliable internet, great speed, reasonable pricing. Thanks, Paul. We think you're great too. And it's 99.9% reliable with equipment included. Get Optimum 300 meg internet for $30 a month with Optimum Mobile for as low as $15 a month. For your special offer, call 866-9-OPTIMUM. Go to Optimum.com or visit a store today. Get closer, go farther with Optimum.
Accidents happen, but you don't have to live with the dents. Hail damage, door dings, even minor collision. Save money, time, and your factory paint by choosing First Choice Dents.
Cars priced right both day and night. Average your car in Texas. Trucks built for you, red, white, and blue. Average your car in Texas. Cars that zoom with lots of room. Average your car in Texas. Count on us, a dealer to trust. Average your car in Waco, Texas.
Now's the time to get a great deal on taking care of your property. You need tractors rated #1 in durability and owner experience so you can do it all and do it right. Z-Series mowers that deliver a quality cut, and Sidekick utility vehicles where durability meets speed. Right now, bring home select Kubota equipment for 0 down, 0% APR for 72 months, plus save up to $800.
WC Tractor, now with 6 convenient locations to serve you. Find us at WCTractor.com.
In Texas, every day can be an adventure. That's why we created the Ford Explorer, an SUV for adventures big and small. It's designed to see what you can't with an available 360-degree camera and voice-activated Sync 3 to stay connected. Plus, it's the all-time best-selling SUV in America. Be adventure-ready with Ford Explorer.
Now get a new 2023 Ford Explorer with 3.9 financing for 60 months, plus $2,000 bonus cash. See your best in Texas Ford dealer.
Accidents happen, but you don't have to live with the dents. Hail damage, door dings, even minor collision. Save money, time, and your factory paint by choosing First Choice Dents.
Last night, WNBA star and former Baylor Bear Brittney Griner made her Texas homecoming, taking on the Dallas Wings in her first game back in the Lone Star State after she was wrongfully detained in Russia for 10 months.
And amid the celebration, Griner did not let anyone forget there's still a long list of Americans waiting to come home. Here's Allie Spilliards.
In Arlington's College Park Center, Brittney Griner's star power was evident, with fans from across the Baylor alum's career packing the arena. This first meeting of the season between the Phoenix Mercury and Dallas Wings was overshadowed by Griner's homecoming, 6 months after she was released from a Russian prison, where the U.S. declared she was wrongfully detained. Tonight, Griner aimed to turn some of the spotlight on those still waiting to come home, welcoming the family of fellow Texan, Houston businessman Zach Shaheen.
So we're very excited, to bring this story to the public.
Shaheen's sister-in-law, Ida Dogger, says they've been working to free him from a prison in the United Arab Emirates for 15 years, held for a financial crime she says he didn't commit. Dogger says Shaheen spent the last 4 months in a hospital.
His health is deteriorating unbelievably. Physically, and I can tell you from top to bottom, whether it's pneumonia he had, heart blockages he has, prostate problems, thyroid problems, you name it.
And his mental state is even worse as Shaheen loses hope. Dogger says the State Department has shown little interest in the case, but she hopes attention from the Bring Our Families Home campaign, which advocated for both Griner and North Texan Trevor Reed, can change that. For Shaheen's family, there's hope in Griner's story. A happy ending, which they'll never stop fighting for.
Because we want our voice to be heard. That's all we want.
Coming up, we're on day 4 of the Cedric Marks sentencing. We have a live update.
Let me help you with that. I'm good, man. Thanks. Are you sure?
Everyone can use a little help. Volkswagen Tiguan with Front Assist. Visit your local Volkswagen dealer for 1.9% APR financing for 36 months on a new 2023 Taos or Tiguan.
Texas Star Tire and Auto Repair is your headquarters for the best tires, automotive repair, wheel alignments, and more. With a $59.90 oil change for full synthetic and a $30.60 for synthetic blend, tire services, preventive maintenance, and more, all at the best price in town. Inspections, brake repair, and diagnostics are just a few services we have to offer. We take an engineering approach to utilize state-of-the-art technology in a methodical plan, do, check, act, problem-solving process to maximize the quality you deserve. Our convenient location serves Waco, McGregor, Lorena, and surrounding areas.
At Affordable Dentures and Implants, we believe in the healing power of a new smile, the way it makes you look and feel, the way a smile lights up a room, so people can see the best version of you, which is why we make new smiles affordable for everyone, so you don't need to wait another day to get your smile back. Scan the QR code to learn more, or visit affordabledentures.com.
Go ahead and smile.
When you want classic rock in Waco, there's only one place to go. 106.7 The Eagle, Waco's only classic rock station. No matter what you're looking for, from AC/DC to Queen, Lynyrd Skynyrd to Led Zeppelin. The Eagle is your home for the greatest hits of all time. Tune in today at 106.7 or online at 1067theeagle.live for Waco's only classic rock. 106.7 The Eagle.
Why are there 2 extra seats? I know, Uncle Dan and his giant beard.
The Volkswagen Atlas with best-in-class third-row legroom.
Get 3.9% APR financing for 60 months on new 2023 Atlas Family SE with tech models. Limited inventory available.
Mike LaPointe and the Fox 44 Storm Team, warning you first and keeping you safe.
Straight ahead on Fox 44 News at 6, leaders and staff at Cameron Park Zoo gearing up for a special celebration.
And this afternoon, Governor Greg Abbott signed 6 different bills in an effort to bolster border security.
Covering Temple, McGregor, and all of Central Texas, this is Fox 44 News at 6.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for Fox 44 News at 6. I'm MG Montemayor.
And I'm Adam Hooper.
Well, we are seeing scattered showers and thunderstorms in parts of our area. And for the very latest, we bring in Chief Meteorologist Mike LaPointe. Mike.
Yeah, the thunderstorms are still popping up. Matter of fact, a brand new warning just came across for Bosque County. Severe thunderstorm warning right now until 6:15. Here is our exclusive Viper radar. And as we get you into Bosque County there, Clifton, it's on the way. Very heavy rainfall out there. But the big threat has been winds. We could see wind gusts around 60 miles per hour and penny-size hail. Penny-size hail is below severe limits. So once again, I would think that the wind may be a little bit stronger, and that's why we've got the warning out there. You can see all the lightning and heavy rainfall with it tracking to the southeast. And again, that warning goes until 6:15 this evening. Widely scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms, basically from Hill County, and as you work your way over toward Limestone County. It's been raining on again, off again in Mexia and down toward the Brazos Valley. Had some steadier rainfall now to the south of the College Station area. Still some rain over toward Caldwell at this hour. I do think, though, as we go throughout the evening, we'll see those showers and isolated thunderstorms begin to weaken when they start to lose some of the heat of the day and the sunshine goes down. By 9 o'clock, we're looking at, again, partly to mostly clear skies developing here across the region, and that's going to be the story overnight tonight into early tomorrow morning. Once again, our live Centex Roof System Sky Tracker showing you, again, partly to mostly cloudy skies right now across the area. We're talking quiet weather, but another round of storms over the weekend. We'll talk about that and the big-time heat coming up in a few minutes. Back to you.
Thanks, Mike.
Bell County 426th District Courtroom was in complete shock as Cedric Marks testified he's absolutely responsible in the deaths of Jenna Scott and Michael Swearingen.
That's right. We're in day 4 of the sentencing, with Marks representing himself, admitting the jury was right to find him guilty. Fox 44's Earl Stoudemire joins us live outside the Bell County Justice Center with what Marks wants the jury to do. Earl.
Adam, MG, the courtroom was speechless and stunned when Cedric Marks asked the jury to give him the death penalty after explaining how he's responsible in the deaths of Jenna Scott and Michael Swearingen. Marks confessed he's had colon cancer for the last year, not taking his medication because he's ready to go. Marks said he's cleaned up a mess he lied about, he lied in his police interviews, and should receive the hardest sentence possible. In reflection, Marks said to do it for the families of Jenna Scott and Michael Swearingen to give them resolution. For Adrian Logan and Logan, Marks said to put him to death so his sons don't have to put their lives on hold. If Marks isn't put on death row, Marks said the community is going to pay taxes to keep him alive and hope it's the quickest decision the jury makes. In the end, Marks said he loved Jenna and still loves her. He's sorry he didn't get to know Michael, and it's not about going down. Marks said he'd be going down anyway. Marks is certain there are two people accountable for killing Jenna and Michael, and it's not him. Tomorrow, Marks will bring his last witness to testify, and there will be closing arguments tomorrow. Live in Belton, Earl Stoudemire, Fox 24 News.
Thanks, Earl.
This afternoon, Governor Greg Abbott signed 6 different bills in an effort to bolster border security.
That's right. Leaders also announced a new effort starting next month with a hefty price tag designed to deter migrants from crossing the Rio Grande. Monica Madden looks into how it would work.
Every day, migrants make the dangerous trek of trying to cross the Rio Grande into the United States. Many die trying.
Breaking news.
It's one reason why Texas will soon roll out these buoys in the Rio Grande.
It's dangerous. Family units that come across the river, we don't want anybody to get hurt. In fact, we want to prevent people from getting hurt, prevent people from drowning.
This session, lawmakers set aside more than $5 billion toward border security. And the Texas Department of Public Safety says 1,000 feet of these buoys cost a little under $1 million.
It depends on how much more is going to be acquired over time. And that'll be based upon the threat and what we're able to do.
There's about 5,000 feet in a mile, so 1 mile of these buoys would cost Texas around $5 million.
We can put mile after mile after mile of these buoys. What you see here is just another iteration, another tool. So the Texas military, they can deploy it quickly right at the river to deter them from even risking themselves coming across.
DPS Director Stephen McCross says they are all mobile and are about 4 to 6 feet tall depending on the water. The buoys come as Texas's latest strategy of using physical barriers like razor wire and the border wall itself, all in attempts of deterring migrants from crossing illegally.
Texas is no longer ground zero for this crisis. Texas is a stronghold.
The first wall of buoys goes up in July.
Leaders and staff at the Cameron Park Zoo are putting on their party hats as they celebrate a huge milestone this evening.
Fox 44's Renako G stopped by the zoo earlier today to see how they're preparing for an exciting night.
Preparations for the Cameron Park Zoo birthday celebrations are underway as the natural habitat celebrates 30 years here in Waco. Established in July of 1993, those at the Cameron Park Zoo are thrilled to celebrate the zoo's historic 30-year milestone a month before its actual date. The entirety of the Natural Habitat Zoo is home to over 1,700 animals, drawing in large crowds from visitors all over. And tonight, those at the zoo are opening its doors past regular hours to celebrate a momentous occasion with the community. Marketing Public Relations Manager Duanne McGregor shares all of the exciting details for tonight's event from 6 to 10.
We have a slide, a bounce house, karaoke for them from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock, and of course the animals, the main stars, will be out until 7:30.
Tickets purchased will go towards a fundraiser, with adults charged $15 per entry and children $10. Festivities will also include a trackless train, a bubble machine, a kid-friendly mechanical bull, and a band for adults and children to dance and have a good time too. Whether there's rain or clear skies, festivities are still set to take place tonight here at the Cameron Park Zoo. For more information, you can visit our website at fox44news.com. In Waco, Renako G, Fox 44 News.
A surprise ruling from the Supreme Court forcing Alabama back to the drawing board. More on why the court had a problem with Alabama's voting districts coming up.
Weather-wise, still monitoring showers and thunderstorms. We do have that warning still in Bosque County till 6:15. Quiet weather tomorrow, but more storms possible this weekend. Like the forecast coming up next.
This is Fox 44 News at 6 with Adam Hooper, MG Montemayor, AMS certified chief meteorologist Mike LaPointe, and sports with Eric Kelly.
Tonight on News Nation, America's fastest growing cable news network. The announcement taking the sports world by storm. Live Golf now in a multi-year broadcast deal with the CW network. Two-time major champion and Live Golf CEO Greg Norman sits down to discuss the league's first U.S. TV deal in a News Nation exclusive. Tonight on Dan Abrams Live, 9, 8 Central. See why more people are turning to News Nation. To find News Nation, go to newsnationnow.com and click Channel Finder.
Sheldon and Missy face off in Book Smarts versus Street Smarts.
It was like thwack and the gathunk.
Young Sheldon.
Weeknights at 5 and 6:30 on Fox 44.
You're hitting a car crash. You're injured. You're in pain. Your car's damaged and you're not working. Certainly the insurance company is going to take care of your bills and repairs, right? Wrong. The insurance company is moving at a snail's pace and your bills are piling up. You're missing work and can't support your family. Stressful. This is why you need Chad Jones Law. Before you get angry with the insurance company's ridiculous offers and feet dragging, don't get mad. Get Chad.
Fact: $3.99 is equal to the sum of 2 beef patties, 3 slices of cheese, 2 pieces of Texas toast, and 1 side of Tots or fries. Yeah, not to brag, but we're like really good at math. Sonic $3.99 grilled cheese double burger and Tots deal.
Life after weight loss surgery is a new beginning, a new experience. My confidence after weight loss surgery is amazing. I could go for walks, I could run, I get to try new things and live life and try new clothes, and I like the way I look now.
Alex is amazing and full of joy. Two years ago, Alex overcame a serious drowning accident. Today, he outruns all of us. This journey that we've been through has definitely brought all of our family together. Alex is the biggest little warrior that I know.
Never fear. Strength is right here.
Remember that night you spent in an igloo, sipping on a strawberry shortcake slush float with crunchy sugar crystals? Was that real? Or is that just your brain's summer vacation house? $2.99 strawberry shortcake snowball slush float. Sonic.
Welcome back. Alabama lawmakers have some work to do.
That's right. They need to redraw the state's congressional districts after the Supreme Court struck down the state's map, saying it violated the Voting Rights Act because it concentrated white voters in too many districts. A Supreme Court surprise after Chief Justice John Roberts and Justice Brett Kavanaugh sided with the court's 3 liberals to force Alabama to throw out its congressional district map and start over, saying the GOP state legislature diluted black voting power across several majority white districts. Alabama's only black member of Congress watched the case play out in October at the Supreme Court.
Representation matters, and this is a case about fair representation. African Americans in Alabama are 27% of the population, and yet we have only 1 of the 7 seats. It's simply not fair.
Justice Clarence Thomas dissented in a 5-4 vote. Thomas said the issue was whether the Voting Rights Act of 1965 required Alabama to make its districts racially proportional to its population.
Weather Rate certified most accurate forecast in Central Texas. This is Fox 44 weather with Chief Meteorologist Mike LaPointe.
We are looking at partly to mostly cloudy skies right now, at least here in the Waco, Temple, and Killeen area. Some showers and storms are out there. We'll show you those in just a second, but if you are heading outside, at least in the I-35 corridor, it's been pretty quiet lately. We do have some thunderstorms knocking on the door right now. Again, our live Centex roof system sky tracker. It is 74 degrees. Wind has been out of the east at 9 miles per hour. Here's the very latest now on our exclusive Viper radar. Showers and thunderstorms been popping up. It was very busy this afternoon down in parts of Bell County over toward Milam County, but now it's quiet. You can see most of the shower activity down around Cameron has just kind of fallen apart as it moved down to the southeast. But as we work our way a little bit farther back up to the north there in McLennan County, some showers, some storms knocking on the door there. This is what we've been looking at right now. We'll go back a little bit farther. Severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Bosque County until 6:15. So just for the next several minutes right now. But the showers continue to track to the southeast. Wind has been the big threat hail, penny size with this storm here. But Clifton, heavy rainfall, a lot of lightning out there associated with this. And then down toward the Brazos Valley, most of the activity that's been pretty heavy has been tracking to the southeast at about 20 miles per hour. So the forecast as we go throughout the evening, still some spotty showers out there. But a lot of these are all generated with the heat of the day. So we lose that sunshine, we lose the heat, we lose these thunderstorms. That's why they start to collapse. By midnight, just partly cloudy skies across the area. Temperatures back into the 60s and lower 70s. And by tomorrow morning, I expect temperatures to be in the 60s to start the day. As we go throughout the morning, a lot of sunshine. We're going to start to warm it up in a hurry. Kind of keep that in mind if you're going to be outside working, that's for sure. We're talking temperatures by noontime already climbing into the upper 80s and lower 90s, and by the afternoon, mid-90s could spark a shower or storm, but nothing like what we're seeing out there right now. I think tomorrow is going to be very, very isolated, so not everybody will see that. Your Friday night calls for some very, very hot conditions. We're talking the upper 90s to mid-90s across our area. Heat index values tomorrow evening will be about 100, so not feeling the best. So make sure you're staying inside, or at least find a mister if you're going to be heading out to the maybe out to eat. Eat in the patio, that is. And then by early in the morning on Saturday, partly cloudy skies. Again, another very hot day, but another little disturbance begins to move in here, and this will bring us a chance of showers and thunderstorms late Saturday afternoon into Saturday night. Now, we need to watch those because the Storm Prediction Center has a slight risk out. This is a 2 out of 5 when it comes to that scale of slight chance of severe weather, with the possibility of large hail and damaging winds can't be ruled out. Now, the tornado threat is very, very low on that, but just kind of keep in mind Saturday night, just be weather alert, keep an eye to the sky. At least that's how it looks right now. We still have a couple days and we'll see what that looks like, but right now, slight risk out for Saturday late afternoon and evening. Tonight, though, still monitoring some showers and some storms, but they will be coming to an end. Otherwise, partly cloudy. We drop to 69, and then tomorrow, mostly sunny skies. It's going to be a hot day, about 94 degrees the high, heat index at 101 degrees. Here's the long-range 10-day forecast brought to you by First Choice Dents, and we are talking about those showers and storms late afternoon and evening on Saturday. Once they clear, high pressure begins to build in, and that high is in no hurry to leave because look at the temperatures and look at the dry weather. We are looking at partly cloudy skies. Highs will be in the triple digits for most of the upcoming week. Nighttime lows will be in the 70s, so not feeling the best as we hit Bryan and College Station. 95 tomorrow. There's the possibility of some stronger storms late Saturday. By Sunday, it's totally out of here. And then next week, high and dry weather, upper 90s to lower 100s across the region. And again, it's just a good reminder to remind people just to slow down, drink water, just take your time, because here comes that heat, and once that heat takes hold, it slows you down. I don't know, you know, you're working out, and that just, it's hard.
There's been reports too of like it can increase the amount of people who become angry and do things out of anger. It just, the heat just it means business. So
it does.
Doesn't it make you like want to catnap though, like the sun beating down? It's really.
Yes.
I don't know, the rays.
Your best option.
And it's also a good reminder too to use your sunscreen. You know, that sun will burn you, and nothing worse than having skin cancer.
Although I haven't felt mosquitoes yet. Hopefully we can hold off on getting those guys.
The 100s will take care of the mosquitoes. That's for sure.
Zap them.
Yes.
All right.
Too hot.
Thanks, Mike.
Coming up, we take you on a tour of Austin's most iconic hotel that withstands the test of time on this week's Destination Texas.
This weather segment is brought to you by Centex Roof Systems, your hometown roofer. Call today, 751-7700.
I've known Tony now for about 9 years, which is about the time I've been a minister here at the Church of Christ in Groesbeck. I've known his son for a while, but I did not know his son was now moving into the business with him. And it was great interacting with him. He's a young man, and he's going to do his dad proud with this business. This is just a great roof. It's going to do us good for a long time. And we're glad to have Centex Roof Systems involved in making this possible for us.
God bless Texas.
Sizzling summer savings are happening this Saturday at Ashley. Get ready to save on the hottest furniture styles with 30% off store-wide. And to make sizzling savings even hotter, we're offering 60 months, no interest. 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Saturday only at Ashley.
Dinosaur Adventure roars into Bryan. One weekend only. Brazos County Expo. With life-size dinosaurs and massive family fun. Experience the thrill of the prehistoric age, featuring the ferocious T-Rex, Triceratops, Velociraptor, and more. Go on a realistic fossil dig. Take a ride on your favorite dinosaur. Bounce around in the prehistoric playground. And a baby dinosaur meet and greet. Take an amazing dinosaur adventure. This weekend only. Brazos County Expo. Tickets at dinosauradventure.com.
A lot has changed in Waco over the past few years. Local folks have come together with a vision for the future. Growth and new development continue to make our area an exciting place to live, work, and play. And a great way to see the sights and sounds of Waco is in a Toyota from Jeff Hunter Toyota. In Waco, this is who we are, and this is what we drive. Shop Jeff Hunter Toyota. Toyota quality, Waco values.
Right now at Ashley, discover the luxury and support of a good night's sleep with select Ashley Sleep Queen mattresses starting at $9.99. And for a limited time, buy a bed gear pillow or mattress protector. Get the second half off. Shop and save today. Only at Ashley.
Sheldon's here with me today.
Great. Sheldon pitches in at the parish.
You smell like cigarettes.
You're fun.
You also smell like mothballs and Bengay. Bye.
The next Young Sheldon.
Coming up at 6:30 here on Fox 44.
Sheldon and Missy face off in Book Smarts versus Street Smarts.
You do not want me as an enemy. Or as a friend, sibling, or student, I've been told.
Young Sheldon.
Weeknights at 5 and 6:30 on Fox 44. Covering Killeen, Woodway, and all of Central Texas. This is Fox 44 News at 6.
Welcome back. It's one of Austin's most iconic hotels that withstood the test of time. Now the 137-year-old Driscoll Hotel is inviting you to learn a little more, offering tours to the public.
That's right. Tom Miller went on the tour and looks back at the history of Austin's oldest hotel, still standing today.
Sitting well below the skyscrapers amidst the hubbub of the state's capital, an enduring and still thriving testament to its past.
A lot of people in Austin know that the Driscoll is historical and a special hotel, but maybe not all the backstory. What makes this so special?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is the oldest hotel currently in Austin, and it's just played host to so many important moments, both in political history, in people's personal history.
Driscoll tour guide Audrey Acosta quickly pointed out the date atop the hotel was perhaps too ambitious.
It was built in 1886. However, the story really begins in 1884. So at the time, Austin was the westernmost city in Texas, and ladies and gentlemen would, get dressed up in their finest. They'd take a horse and buggy down what was called the Main Street of Texas to watch construction at the Texas State Capitol building.
That's when businessman Jesse Lincoln Driscoll entered the scene, his bus still atop the hotel. Buying a lot in the heart of downtown Austin for $7,500, he wanted to construct a luxury hotel for those folks to stay at. Though he's forced to sell just 2 years later, the Driscoll's storied history was only just beginning.
Austin's very first interstate phone call was made from this lobby in 1899. For the Driscoll to be able to make interstate phone calls definitely marked it as the height of luxury.
That luxury extends to its ballroom, mezzanine, and Maximilian room with its 8 antique mirrors worth more than $9 million today. It's also rich in political history.
One of the things that makes this hotel so historically significant is its connections with Lyndon B. Johnson.
That's correct, yeah. So we are walking up to the LBJ suite. LBJ lived here kind of unofficially and stayed here during his presidential career, anytime he was back in Austin.
Then there are the ghost stories. The Driscoll often landing at the top of the list of the most haunted buildings in Texas.
Samantha is a young girl who passed in the early 1900s. So this is her portrait right here. She was a senator's daughter. She very tragically fell down the stairs. She's a mischievous. I mean, she's a little girl, so she likes to cause trouble sometimes. She'll flicker lights. She'll, turn the water off and on. You might feel a tickle.
With 175 guest rooms and 16 suites, the hotel considers itself a boutique stay compared to some of its neighbors. A stay full of both Austin and Texas history. In Austin, Tom Miller for Destination Texas.
Name a way a woman likes her men and her cheese.
Full of adventure.
Family Feud. Stop all this adventure.
Days at 4 p.m. right here on Fox 44.
Budget Rental Park wants your vehicle and we'll pay you top dollar for it. Turn that junk car into cash and the tow is free. Have a junk car taking up space? Give us a call and get paid today. Or visit us online for an estimate and turn your car into cash. Yep, it's that easy. Turn something old into gold at Budget Rent-A-Part in Belton, where we pay top dollar for junk cars. Located on 190 in Belton, Budget Rent-A-Part, paying top dollar for junk cars.
Let me help you with that. I'm good, man. Thanks. Are you sure?
Everyone can use a little help. Volkswagen Tiguan with Front Assist. Visit your local Volkswagen dealer for 1.9% APR financing for 36 months on a new 2023 Taos or Tiguan.
When it's more than just your lawn, it deserves the Kubota Z400. When you need a head-turning offer on class-leading speed, agility, durability, simple deck height adjustments, and a professional-grade cut, then you need the Kubota Z400 mower. Now, get the Z400 mower for 0 down, 0% APR for 48 months or save $300.
WC Tractor, now with 6 convenient locations to serve you. Find us at WCTractor.com.
Your hometown roofer is now your hometown sandblasting and powder coating company. Introducing Centex Metals, a division of Centex Roof Systems. Just north of Waco and Elmont is a state-of-the-art facility that can take your dreams to reality. From custom metal gates to made-to-order art, signage, and even fire pits. And don't forget our seamless gutters and quality carport and patios. Whether it's gates, fences, or art, your Central Texas metal design experts have you covered.
Call Centex Metals. I'm your hometown roofer, and I approve this message.
Have a car? A title? You could get up to $10,000 with TitleMax. Go to TitleMax.com and enter your car year, make, and model. See how much you could get. Check out TitleMax.com for the most cash you need. Check out TitleMax.com and shop us for rates. Check out TitleMax.com. All credit types accepted. Find out why so many people say,
I got my title back with TitleMax.
I got my title back with TitleMax.
Get your title back with TitleMax.
Why are there 2 extra seats? I know, Uncle Dan and his giant beard.
The Volkswagen Atlas with best-in-class third-row legroom. Get 3.9% APR financing for 60 months on new 2023 Atlas Family SE with tech models. Limited inventory available.
When the weather changes from day to day, you want a reliable weather team to count on. The Fox 44 Storm Team, Central Texas certified most accurate forecast.
Showers and thunderstorms up in Bosque County are slowly drifting to the south and southeast at 10, so we'll watch those closely in McLennan County. Again, the wind would be the biggest threat with that and heavy rainfall. Otherwise, we are looking at those showers and storms to kind of fall apart here over the next couple of hours. Your forecast, 94 tomorrow. Some stronger storms possible again late Saturday night, so we'll watch that. Once that moves out of here, Sunday through next week, we're talking hot temperatures, upper 90s to lower 100s.
Bring back the inferno for sure.
Here it comes, yes.
All right. I like your sunscreen and getting everything ready.
Drink plenty of water. Yep.
Heat stroke's no joke. Thanks, Mike. Thanks for joining us. Fox44News.com is where it's at. We'll see you again tonight at 9.